about them?
No, I don't have any issue with that. I'm just checking. Can we take these two cameras, table cameras over here somewhere so I can use that plug to bring extra plugs over here?
I need this.
No, I will just use this one. So I can use this extension cord to give electric over there.
What do you need? What do you want to use? Oh yeah, sure. Okay, you can take
I
that.
just unplug this.
I understand. Perfect.
Use this main cable so there will be
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's live and it's what do we do? Okay, it's live. Here's it.
Should I see it on here yet?
Mine. It's my channel.
Oh, on your channel.
The testing part is my channel.
Do you want me to look
We
it up?
switch tomorrow. We also need. No, you just leave it there. Just leave that. Just leave those there.
Okay.
They're on here. The title is UK Open Super Jackpot.
Do you know how to change that?
No.
You don't. Okay.
Oh, you're over in the
settings.
yeah. You're in the
We're going to
YouTube.
start our match if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll catch up. Whatever goes on.
Okay, now you can use this please. Anything else I can be helpful with?
I don't know. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Beautiful.
Now we've got some spare ones.
Yeah.
Must be something. Stop edit.
Yeah, I've done that like once. I don't know if you can edit it while it's live or anything. You know. I don't know much.
Yeah, but believe me, you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. No one knows why. Edit.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there is a fucking edit here.
Hey everybody, Nick Blazier here with round 2 of the Bmab tournament here at the Merit International Hotel Open in Cyprus. Super excited to have streaming get started with you. It's going to be just me for this first match, and we have a couple other names that we might be able to bring in through the day. It took us some time to get like the technical side of everything set up, but we've got for you here Gaz Owen playing the checkers, black checkers on bottom versus Fernando Newmark. Joining a match in progress, and it looks like White got in a 2-cube earlier in this game, and it's still the first game of the match, and some turnaround potential here for Gaz for sure. Had a little bit of cracking problems here. So here we go. Please, as we start these out too, if you're watching this, let me know. I'm watching the chat over here too. So let me know how I sound so we can adjust through the weekend. If I'm too loud, too quiet, anything like that, muffled, whatever you got, I can always fix it. Can mess around with that as I go here too. Yeah, so keep me posted on how this streaming is going for you. Okay, that's probably a little too loud, I bet. And we'll keep picking up pairings. We're going to certainly switch to the Merit Open streaming page as soon as we can. So especially in this first match, watch out for interruptions and things as we go there. But yeah, just be prepared for that. So what do we got here? So Fernando back in command of this game with one of Gaz's checkers on the roof. Looks like he's gotten around 2. Rolls a 3-1 for the bear off here. It seems like one should just come off. What is play B here? I guess we could clear the 3, but that seems like more contact. Why would we? Oh, he's already played the 3 and needs an ace to play. Okay. Evening out on the outside seems good, but 1 off the ace. There is a rule out there about always take 1 off the ace, so that could be possible too. And Gaz entering, this is going to be good for saving gammons, but quite a few at risk here, I think, still. And Fernando, if he can dodge this, leaving a shot with a 6-1 or 5-1, he should be in the clear to at least win this game. Yeah, let us know how the video's going too here. I think it's looking pretty nice, but we're trying to make sure that the streaming computers are keeping up with everything too, so your feedback's really appreciated today as we get started here. 3-1. I think we should just be maximizing crossovers and pips outside, so sure, okay. I hope the 3 came in directly to the 6. 6-2, easy decisions for Fernando, just taking checkers off as often as he can. So it looks like here probably all the way from the 19 to the 6 maximizes crossovers and pips outside. I like this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 crossovers for Gaz to get off the gammon, and they're long ones, and only 9 for Fernando, so I'm betting he's probably a favorite to win a gammon here, Fernando. I'm sure either 3 should be fine, but I guess Gaz is going to keep the potential for backgammon save decisions. It's kind of nice to take that other crossover. It could be like slightly different. In the Bmab format, this makes sense. Now I think he's going to be forced to use the 4 appropriately to save the gammon. Everything else would have wasted crossovers or pips. Double aces, doesn't gain a roll on that, so not particularly relevant set. Gaz might need one himself. 2-1's not going to help much. Which ace? These always confuse me. I really don't know on these. The 2's coming in for sure, and then which ace is most likely to get us sufficiently to bearing off. We love the checker on the 8 for double 4s. 5s gets in from the, I guess 4s. What do we gain by moving 16 to 15? I don't know. From the rear seems fine. It's either that or 11 to 10, but those are never particularly clear to me, and particularly small decisions anyway, too. I need some time to think about numbers in those spots. This perfectly 19 to 6 or 15 to 6, so I think that's going to be the play. But he's going to go over it and see. It looks like he's going to need doubles to save this, since Fernando's always off in 2 rolls at the most. So he needs to look around and make sure the most sets work that can, but Fernando seals it with a double 6, and we're off to a 4-0 lead. All right, 4-3 to open. Down is pretty standard at even scores, and of course even more reasonable when you're trailing like this. He wants to find gammonish plays. Fernando finds a great 3-1, of course. 6-3. I think probably for distribution it's better to make the board point, but we have a decision between that and making the bar point, of course, which the bar point is the more valuable point, but it's just too hard to build from there. I think afterward we strip the midpoint and stay stacked on the 5 point, all these things. So I think he's found the best play there. Double aces, yeah, when we have the 5 point, we love to finish it out with the rack and make the 4, so this looks strong. Always tempting to make the bar point instead, but that just switches points. This makes a new point, so I think it's better. 6-2 is pretty natural. And so Gaz must have the racing lead right now. So Fernando wants to stick to some priming, which means I'm not sure that he particularly wants to split here, but he might have to for lack of options. But he's going to go for a slotting play instead and really stick to his priming game plan potentially. I don't mind that. I mean, this is a pretty... I think I would end up splitting because we're not under the gun with the split. It's a relatively safe split. But the priming versus blitzing game plan kind of theory really points towards not splitting there. So I think it was good of him to spend some time thinking about it. 5s, for lack of options, I guess I'm going to hit on the ace and try to take away half a roll, but there aren't really any good plays here. Looks like we're going to end up putting 2 checkers on the 3. Yeah, I don't think there's really a play B here. I don't see anything else available other than 13-3, 8-3, and 6-1. What else could we even try? I guess we could try clearing the midpoint entirely and playing a checker to the 3 and just trying to play the race plan. Maybe this is better distribution, actually. And I guess we don't want to get a checker hit when we're this far ahead in the race. But I'm pretty afraid of my opponent's priming potential and having to deal with the back checkers when I don't hit. If he escapes 1 checker to the outfield or just brings, 2 down from the mid, we're under a lot of pressure to get those back checkers moving. So it feels like the tempo could be worth something here. This is a tricky one to be sure, though. I mean, neither play looks particularly desirable, and I think these end up being the most difficult positions to deal with in a lot of cases. And he goes with the hit. Okay, I feel like this is the natural play. Not the natural play. This is what I would end up finding, I think. But we'll see. No, yeah, puts himself on the bar. Yeah. This is start. No, yeah. Yeah. Yes. They're going to have a discussion about this. I'll go scold Gaz afterward about moving checkers around for this. It's funny. Huge attendance for this Bmab tournament, too. We have 32 players entered. I think on the Merit Open backgammon site, you can probably find the draw sheet for that and see all the matches coming up. But great field here. Okay, so the tempo hit doesn't work. I think we do want to make the 23 here as well. And Fernando in great shape. And these are hard for me to find, but this is the kind of 3-away cube that can be correct. And actually here, I feel like at normal scores, maybe we'd be thinking too good pretty automatically. But that can be like a good reason to cash at this 3-away score instead and not deal with that volatility. So interesting. I would have had to pause to think about it, but Fernando is just going to roll on. And as I mentioned in my book, I think just never cubing at this 3-away leading score is a fine adjustment. He goes ahead and goes for that. So it makes a lot of sense. It's just very easy to get to too good anyway. And Gaz in really tough shape here. Too many checkers back, too many on the 24. Even if he can make some sort of back game or double anchor game. By the way, I think he for sure should take this checker off the 5 and send it back. I don't think you're worried about timing or anything like this with everything behind the prime. And you don't want to get trapped yourself or attacked or let him buy time to escape something like this. So even when Gaz does this and makes the anchor, he just doesn't have timing or the purity in his board to deal with this. And so like a back game just isn't going to work. Of course, the first 5 is going to send 6 to ace. So he's still just trying to damage control the best he can. If he can advance and make the 22 points, something like this, that would be fantastic. So I think Fernando should be focused on that. Making the 6 prime pretty strong as well. But yeah, I don't think we want to make it so bad that we want to split 23 to 22. Maybe 24 to 23 is nice to have aces and deuces to step up. But any way we can just get to the edge and try to escape those checkers and lose less gammons is going to be, and backgammons for that matter, is going to be great for Gaz in this position. That's going to be the best he can do with it. When he stays parked on the 11, he keeps double fours. This changes a little bit, but that's okay. It's kind of the natural play to just move to the edge. Anything that doesn't move for Gaz is a great shot. So just going to slot the front. Okay. I don't see any problem with it. I'm not sure that we need to, but of course there's not really anything that can go wrong when we do, so fine. 3 is pretty bad. It's about the worst shake for Gaz here. And Fernando looking to claim the 3-point now. That would be a big improvement. Ooh, does he want to break his prime to do it? I think I would here. I guess he would open up 6s and 5s, but this looks pretty front-loaded and awkward, and like maybe there can be bad shots, but he might have the right priming game plan option. And yeah, Gaz would have been moving a lot of freight on that roll had Fernando given up the bar point, so perhaps a good play found by him. I think 2 in, 8 to 6 looks too nice for distribution to pass up, but he's going to focus on keeping the prime again. He could be right about this. Tricky plays for sure. I think the ace we want to step up, but maybe not. That could open up trap plays where we have to break one of the anchors. But if I'm in Gaz's shoes, I'm thinking about trying to get to the edge and escape in case my opponent breaks the 8 first or whatever. I don't know. I just want to be at the edge and leave. Maybe it doesn't change a whole lot here, though. And Fernando wants to think about whether or not he wants to volunteer a shot, if he wants to be hit on a 6 to recirculate and try to keep that checker behind the prime. I'm not sure I see a ton of gain in it, but I think it can't be bad either. There's not really anything goes wrong from there. 5-2 is a little awkward. Would we rather just volunteer here, keep the prime for one more roll? We're getting very front-loaded when we do this, but we have to give up a double shot. We also create the double shot's not such a risk. It's just 5s to escape that we don't want to give up yet. So he sticks with his plan. I think he's consistent at least, and now 5-2 doesn't move, from the back anyway. I don't think we want to bury another checker, so I think 3 to ace is the right way to do this, but it is possible that 4 to 2 maintains the 3-point board the longest, so small dilemma there. 4-1 is going to clear naturally for Fernando. This is a good shot. And 6-3, okay, anything that escapes a checker and gets moving is great. I would immediately go from the back because that's the harder one to escape. But I don't know. I've heard people talk about keeping spares on different points in double anchor games like this, so he might have some idea there that he's trying to work through. Double 2s is going to clear 2 points, and then which blot do we want to leave? We're down to 2 points now, where like a hit can actually turn things around for Gaz a little bit. 6-2 misses though, and we're going to get another checker moving, I think. Yeah, this looks good. Unfortunate for Gaz, really needed to hit that double shot, and now Fernando should still be in the driver's seat to win quite a few gammons here. 5-3 is a fine start. And double 5, so does he need to... I mean, he can't bury checkers, so he's probably going to need to give up an anchor here. And maybe just coming out with both, make sure he doesn't get attacked and saves a lot of gammons. Can he save it naturally? This is really hard to calculate, but that's kind of probably the main question going in his mind here. 6-1, doesn't need to leave a shot yet, but leaving that point did create aces once Fernando gets down to no spares left on the 4 point. So that's kind of a nice thing of giving up that point as well. So if Gaz is close to saving this gammon naturally, he needs to focus on saving pips. If he needs to hit to save it, then he needs to make the board point. This seems very likely to be the right play here. I think 11-12 crossovers and long ones at that. And look at this. He found a 2 that was forced as well that he created. And Gaz gets the hit. Okay, he's got a little bit of life here. And Fernando, I don't think is taking enough checkers off to claim this game, but maybe with the open 6 and 5 point. That could be a real problem. And 4-3, so he gets a fan, and now we're still trying to contain here. So I really like the 18 to 14 looks nice. And then I think we need to get one of the back checkers going in. We just want to see as much outfield as we can to make sure our opponent doesn't get a free chance at escaping, that we get as many double shots as possible. So why not just 23 to 20 with it? Yeah, I like this play. I think that sees a lot of board. I really like that. I think he also sees the same idea. I presume he's looking at the 18 to 14 first, and that's the containment idea that he likes. and then we're trying to find a 3 we want to play, and we don't actually want to continue and get into range of 6-5 or anything like this. Oh, hey, Terry in the chat. Hope it sounds okay. Let me know how it's going and how the pictures and everything. Thanks. Appreciate you. 4-2. Okay, so we got another fan, and now we got to figure out how to continue containing. Is there any way to block sets? I don't see it, so I think this seems fine. We're on 6-6 now, which, for better or worse, I don't think we really want to be there, but we get a triple shot on this. I don't think, I mean, in these situations, it might reduce shots somehow, but we don't want to get another blot involved. That's a real problem. So I don't think he can make this 3 to ace hit. I think he wants to just try to play with one blot as long as he can and hope that he scrambles home. Even if he's hit every time here, he has another chance to escape from the bar. So I think the ace is the correct one to hit with. And then the 5 can just come around 16 to 11 and have maximum covers and builders. And we get hit on some 6-5s and things like that, but we have a lot of shots from the roof as well. My play B, I guess, would be just 24 to 19. Maybe we can't afford to give up the 6 to 5, but both look pretty strong. Yeah. A little riskier for losing gammons probably, but this when Fernando fans, this looks a lot better. Okay, and I'm really not sure when Gaz is going to have a cube here, but I think he probably needs to be threatening to close the board at least. So with those dead checkers, even at the score, Fernando should have very easy take decisions. And here he doesn't need to stay back for more contact. He needs to focus on containment and closing the board. And so I think that means that we're out of pips to spend elsewhere, and we want to just play 24 to 14. I don't think we're so desperate that we need to start slotting or anything like this. I don't see the bar as a very valuable point. I guess do we even want to, I guess maybe it creates another blot on 6-1-5-2. So there's some tactical merit to it. That could be a reason. Thanks, Terry. So that's an interesting kind of like calculation find if you got that. 5-1 is a beautiful follow-up. Okay, now he's got some real teeth to this position. How many does Fernando have left? 9 checkers on the board, 10. So 5 off. Is it 5 off here? Am I seeing this right? I think so. Double 5s. What is this? I think this is going to be forced to slot. If he has 5 off and then you're missed, you can maybe claim with the threat to close the board. Is this what we need to do here, or should we just play safe? And we have a way to bury a checker and leave 5-2, 5-5, but 5-6 is a very bad roll as well. I think my inclination is to slot it. It could be, when it starts to get close in the race, it can be too much, but I'm not sure. That's a difficult decision right there. But the thing about it here, too, is when he buries the checker, now we very clearly don't have a cube, I think. So he's going to have to keep playing until he starts to bear off. Maybe a checker off here is enough to send. I don't think he's ready to yet, but it's getting reasonable. Within 5, it is much worse for Fernando, too, to have this gap on the 2 and the ace. His recube's not worth much, so we're happier to send a little bit earlier. But of course, we leave a shot immediately. On a fan here, I think we're in good shape to cube. And a 5-3, though, this must be close. These are so hard to calculate. If you've got Trice's Backgammon Bootcamp or have read EPC articles, I know Art Benjamin's given a lecture here about EPC. Maybe he knows how to solve this pretty well. But there's Stack and Straggler to convert to EPC. Black's position, I could come up with a rough estimate of like how many rolls this position is going to take. But White's side is more challenging. You need some sort of formula to do that. And I think it tends to be pips outside plus rolls in rolls position. And we have to come up with some estimate for how many rolls it's going to take with checkers on just the 4 and the 3. So this is going to take Gaz some time to think about and figure out, am I even the favorite here? Those are tough. Those are very tough. I'll be interested to find out after the match maybe what formulas he uses and things like that too. Okay, if I had to make my best effort, maybe I should do that. Gaz has 14 checkers left, so that's 7 rolls minimum, which should be 50 EPC minimum. Does he have much wastage from there? He could roll a 5 immediately, so I mean, he must have. I mean, a good amount of wastage is usually like, well, actually in EPC, I don't know how I'd add that. I wonder. Maybe I'd call it, I guess it's a 7 roll position best case and probably an 8 roll position worst case though with the stacking. So maybe we put it somewhere between there. and just say we're in the 50 to 57 range and see if we can get closer with Fernando's position. He is going to cube it here, okay. So 17 outside against how many rolls is that? Okay. And Fernando's going to pass. He figured this out already. Okay. I was too lazy. I kind of want to enter that. I guess I could just bring it up on XGM my computer here. Maybe I should look. That's a neat one. I don't know if I remember exactly what Gaz's position was anyway. 3, 2, 3, 5? Yeah. Okay. That is a tricky one. Not what you're hoping comes up in Bmab by any means. Unless you know how to get it right, then you're happy, I guess. 2 and... So what do we get started with here? Okay, a little back and forth, gains a point, 6 away, 3 away. That was a double intake for money, so at the score, small take there, though. So probably optional is fine. And at the score, a 25 pass. So well found by both. That's impressive stuff. 77.5% winning chances. Okay, cool stuff. Great EPC problem. Okay, so what's happened to the blot hitting contest here? Gaz has all the checkers back, and Fernando only has 2 back. So Fernando's just looking for safe and running kind of ideas. The 4 and the 2 is going to have to send another checker back, I think, for lack of options. But making the 11 must be tempting. But I just don't think we can leave the flexibility to build there. Gaz, he can't break the midpoint to hit, I don't think, here. So, I mean, really 24 to 18 looks okay, but maybe just having an anchor and hoping to set up a second one is good too. But some sort of mobility from the back. 5-3, it feels like maybe it's a better opportunity to develop somehow. I don't think we need an anchor against 4 checkers back, so I'm not inclined to make the 18. But the 3-point is pretty deep, but I don't want to play all stacky like this either. I don't know. My instinct would have been to just make the 3-point and go from there, but maybe we can't actually afford to strip the 8-point in this position to do that. But we're so far ahead in the race and checkers back that I'm not really worried about being hit either. 6-4 seems like a fine opportunity to hit 8-4 and play out to the outfield and hope for the best. Whatever he comes up with, I think is going to be okay. Yeah, okay. Come around and try to cover. Maybe that's better than moving something like 21 to 15. 3-6 is going to make another bid for freedom for Fernando. He's just trying to race, and that's the right idea at leading scores for sure. 5-2 I think maybe making the second anchor is the priority here, since we're going to be on the defensive in this game. And we don't want to let our opponent unstack and blitz us or anything like this. And then the 5, sure, just slotting it and getting it where it wants to be and hoping to cover next turn looks very strong. And the game's getting pretty defined here now. So Fernando, ahead in the race and full freedom, but no board or anything, is looking for ways to bring this solid race home. And he's already going to look, I like this. He leaves the checker in front of the midpoint. If he gets hit, he's still winning the race. So there's no urgency in cleaning that blot up and getting all stacky. And Gaz realizes he doesn't have the timing for an ace anything game, and so he's going to get moving from the back instead of burying a checker back deep 8-2 or giving up the mid, something like this. I like that play. 4-2 can't make any points, so maybe it's fine to just hit for the tempo. But we can go through and see what offers the least shots, and maybe something like this. I don't think so, though. I'm not going to play 6-2 with it, so I think just hitting on the bar is going to be kind of forced. Hey, Simon. Good to have you here, man. 5-5. That does not reach any checkers to hit. Do we want to just make the 3-point? That could be okay. Or we could just bring a checker around to the 5. I think we want to keep our 21. But maybe mobility is the idea. I don't see why we want to be in the air if our opponent makes the 5-point. So I like getting that moving. And yeah, so he still has the same decision here, where do I want to make a 3rd point or do I just want to play around safe? I guess I kind of like the 3rd point here. And maybe I just said the opposite. But I'm not so worried about being hit so many far down in the race. But I would like to have the 3-point board already for the inevitable blot hitting contest here. But I think they're both very reasonable. For Fernando here, I love playing around 16-10 and making the bar. This looks very strong. I don't want to be hit anymore. My opponent's got some board now and some risk of escaping. And I'd rather park the blot in front of the anchor so my opponent has to give up that defensive asset to hit me than to stay in front of the midpoint here, I think. Maybe he sees 4 duplication as the big theme here. and doesn't want to create, well, no, he steps up with the 3 here. Okay, so he decides that it's better to make his opponent give up the mid, I guess, is the idea here. And Gaz is going to go ahead and do that for sure. Play 2 down. And hits with a 4 are pretty huge for Fernando here. He does it. The ace, I don't see any reason to get another blot involved here, really. I don't think this helps build enough, and we're under the gun against 11 checkers in the zone. So we should expect to be on the bar a lot here, and we don't really like having another blot to deal with when that's the case, I don't think. That would be my thinking anyway. 3-5, so I think it's a great time to clean it up, but we can definitely think about the tempo to try to prevent our opponent from building more. I think it's a little too much given that we're ahead in the race and our opponent's anchored up all these things. So this seems pretty natural. We can cover and hit and go for the attack. I guess he's going to consider whether or not he needs to advance to make the 20 point and prevent his opponent from having, that's a contested asset for sure. But it just feels too strong to play a little bit of offense with this many checkers in the zone and the better board and all these things. And if that play goes well, then we're hoping to leave one of those, get one of those checkers moving anyway. So yeah, I favor this play. I like that. Three, 5. Okay, another return hit from Fernando. He's surviving this very well. So he has to give up the midpoints to avoid leaving. Maybe the tempo hit on the ace there is okay now. It might actually leave less threatening shots. So the 5 up looks like it can hit, but it has to enter. So what's our best deuce? Sure. And now Gaz really has a nice defensive double anchor game here that he can play very well, even when Fernando escapes. 5-2, I think, is just going to naturally play into the 6. Looks good. And the 1-2, yeah, Gaz is happy to just play offense and hit. And if he gets so lucky to get a 4 or 5 point board, he can start leaving those anchors. So he can just make simple pure plays and always fall back on the double anchor game when he needs to. Fernando under a lot of pressure to escape here and not stay on the roof. Now, he always has a decision here about like playing pure and unstacking and hitting on the 24 to solve problems for later. Here, dillying the builder onto the deuce looks so bad that he's finally ready to do it. So he uses purity to finally go for that tempo hit. I don't fault it, but it is scary against the 3 point board. We don't love it, but okay, 5-6 just going to come out. This is when Gaz has so many checkers back, the threat of being hit is a little less, even against such a strong board. It's going to take a while to close out. 4-1 can just cover. Yeah, no roll that'll help him escape. So why not have an asset? I like this. Once you put a blot on the ace, you often like to cover it and have an asset rather than a liability. 5 going to cover, and I think we want to see the bar points and have more builders there. Yeah, I like the ace step up. Looks very good. 5-3 going to make the 3. Looks strong. And what is this? Is Gaz thinking about cubing here? It could be. That was not on my mind, but this is tricky now. I think it looks very natural to make assets like the 8 with the 5 and the deuce and stack up, but outfield controls the idea, and 6s are going to be very bad. So we need to keep as much coverage as we can. And actually, I think the best way to do that is probably to give up the 20 here. I could be way off on that, but making the bar point and preventing the double 6 joker seems very strong. Keeps us well poised to make the bar point in prime. And if we are pointed on with a 3-2, which there aren't that many numbers, I don't know, I feel like we can survive it. Now we're only going to get a single shot when our opponent runs with a 6, so I feel like that was more important. I guess we would have been hit loose here. And so instead we force a very awkward 3, so we did gain something out of it for sure. And now that Fernando cracks, Gaz is going to go ahead and send it at a trailing score with his threats and some gammon threats. And this seems too nice to maybe just escape and come home safely to a race. I have a trouble letting go of a single checker back position like this. But at the score, it's definitely warranted to think quite a bit about it. And the gammons are very one way. It's scary to take these when gammons are on the line. But I think with only 6 checkers outside, maybe they're not so high. And it should be some time before he gets closed out. So again, my instinct is to play this one. And he's going to pass it. Okay, okay. Maybe I should be entering these quicker and find out for sure. That is a tricky one to be certain. So at one, what do we have here? He was 57 pips ahead in the race. Yeah, it's barely a double and a huge take. So Gaz got one by there. Fernando missing an opportunity. 227. So it's 66% wins and 15% gammons, which seems like a reasonable guess with this much racing lead and things like that in a single back game. But those are scary. I mean, score cubes always frighten us like that. It looks like Gaz is maybe taking a short break here too. So I'm gonna pause for a moment here too, and we'll get resumed with more. Second. Hey everybody,
get someone-
Nick Blazer back here. It looks like they're getting
Get
started
someone
up with Gaz
do it,
and Fernando
then
again.
yes, if not,
So we're,
we just turn it
yeah.
off. Did you read the discussion?
508, 308, Gaz trailing. We got a split open for Fernando. Always, yeah. You can actually think about running at trailing scores. I mean, it's of course better to split there. Not of course, but interesting thing to consider in these score dynamics and how they change close plays to begin with. Once again, he seems to be starting out by sending a bunch of checkers back for Gaz on the back foot, but he keeps surviving 1 point at a time. Oh, this is interesting. I think, yeah, I'm not sure why he's reaching for the midpoint. I think he should enter and hit. But the instinct, of course, is to make the 20-point anchor and find an ace, which maybe is breaking 8 to 7. But once he sees that he can come out on the 24 and hit 20 to 15, that just feels much better. We really don't want to break the 8 to hit here, and we don't have any other productive ace otherwise. And not so urgent to have an anchor quite yet. Ace in and 5 makes the bar point anchor. Okay, that's a huge improvement for Fernando. At leading scores, you love to have an anchor and play a simple game in the sense of like a no gammon game, right? So he wants to get that back checker goalkeeper moving at some point here, even if he's down in the race. And yeah, just parking the checker in front of the anchor and tempting Fernando to leave it is fine. So he's going to think about that, but I don't think he has a better 3. Having the spare on the 8's pretty nice as well. Maybe he could split, actually. Maybe that was stronger, actually. I kind of feel like maybe he should come around the bend and split with a 3 now that his opponent has an anchor. He's going to need one very quickly. But it works out. 4-2 makes a board point. And even though Fernando has an anchor, Gaz is going to be putting pressure on Fernando's position by making board points here. So until he can get that back checker on the 24 landed on the 18 point and moving around. 4-3, yeah, we don't have enough good options here. I'm tempted to just play two down, but I don't know what the race is. If the race is good, stacking up must be fine, but this feels really stiff if it's close, and it seems like it should be close. 2-4 would have been a much tougher roll to split out to the bar, like a quad shot, but he gets hit anyway. Okay. And now I'm not sure we do really want to leave the 6 from the bar, so the 7-5 lift seems okay. Unclear, though. Fernando's position looking pretty stiff, and I think he needs some development on this roll. Must be some awkward ones that break. 6-1 can survive. It can come out to the 18 and play 6-5. But still looking for some sort of improvement to have some real teeth in this position. Double 3s, I think, wow, if we were ahead in the race, we need the 8 point to come home safely. But it's hard when you're looking for contact to pass up the rack. So my temptation, I think, is 8-5 with 2 and maybe 13-10. And I think we don't want to step up into these stacks by playing 24-21 here. We could optionally play 6-3 with 2 and keep our 8 point. That can't be too bad, but it's going to be hard to make our 5 point after this. 3 down, okay. This seems to keep our structure and our spares pretty nicely as well, but I want to go for something bigger because I'm afraid that a blot hitting contest is about to start. Yeah, it feels like this is necessary, and I don't think we have to play 6-3 after it. I think the 13-10 is fine. But okay, he goes for this flexible play instead. I think this must be okay. 4-3, looks like it's going to make a board point. Finally, that development we looked for. Or it can come around the bend. I don't see a reason to leave the fly shots and not just like take the asset. Yeah, and this is very threatening for Fernando too if Gaz can't make an anchor here. So looking pretty strong. But of course, tough to get in 3-away, 5-away cubes. This is the 3-way score we adjust at the least. So he can think about it here. 4-6 comes around and links very naturally. That's a great shot for Fernando. And I feel like if this can be a pass at money, so once he's anchored, I think there's plenty of play for Gaz in this. But without an anchor, that could have been a cube there. That would have been an interesting one to see and think about. This is a decision that's going to be largely on how much timing and race, and I think that Gaz has enough trouble playing his next roll that I would give up the midpoint here. But if he's way ahead, he's going to be tempted to play 18-13 and go that way. But I think, yeah, I don't think we want to bury to the ace. I think we want to play flexible, threaten to make the 4 in the bar. I like the play that he found here. 4-5 misses. I think if next roll is going to be tough if we give up the 8, but I want to keep maximum contact. I don't think we have the timing for it, though. So I think I'm just letting the 10 go and still hoping to work on my board here. This seems to be what the position holds. So, yeah, I like that. 5-2 should bring just 2 checkers in and simple. I don't think we're, our opponent's just completely out of time. So I really don't see myself, oh, he's going to think about, yeah, okay, he's got the 5 to play. Yeah, I think it's better to just come in there and bring checkers home. I don't, leaving the fly shots, there's not that many of them, but not great. And yeah, it is definitely no longer the time to run off the 18 points if we can avoid it. Wow, it's going to be tempting when he can land there for having to bury 2 checkers to avoid it. But yeah, I think he's found the right play here and has a little bit more time to just wait on a set. Double 2s is a little fast. I think Gaz can just, break the 8 and slot the deuce, sure. And needs to avoid some 6s, but maybe he can run off the 22 point and control the outfield in a position like this, especially depending how Fernando plays this move. I don't know that he can afford to do anything else than this pure play. The deuce is going to leave a shot no matter what. Yeah. So I think this is just it. And so now 6s are going to be pretty bad for Gaz on the next roll. But of course, if he can hit a 5, he's looking good, but still facing a 4-point board. So it's a fine roll for Fernando, even though he has to volunteer there. And now, especially at a trailing score, Gaz has to go through the volatility of this. Am I leading? Am I going to win too many gammons? I see quite a bit of play in this, even on our best rolls of 5-4 and 5-3. If our opponent enters with an ace, we don't have much, so I don't think there's enough market loss, but good to pause and think for sure. And this is a tricky one. Maybe, yeah, I guess we duplicate hitting 2s if we just continue, so why not? Still linked up with the back checker. And now, on a fan, Gaz is in the driver's seat, and I think he has a very strong cube here. I think probably too much for Fernando to take, so maybe he did have a lot of market loss there. Maybe I was underestimating that position. Because this feels like a pretty simple threat with the... Even though he has the bar point anchor, he can just be closed out pretty quickly. Yeah, so those 5s are huge, but I mean, anything else was not so huge. He won 1 point. Wait, yeah, 4-way, 3-way. There we go, they found it. Good job, guys. Got a brief pause here again in the action. I'm not sure. Not sure what that's about, but I'm sure we'll be back with the next play quickly. You guys will have to tell me if you're seeing anything on the video. I'm seeing some weird stuff happen on the picture there. Oh, were they missing like a score sheet? Is he swapping it out? I don't know what's happening. All right, 2-1 open for Gaz, 4-way, 3-way. This is one of those most sensitive scores. So we should have some exciting cubes if Gaz can get an advantage. Nope, 4 checkers back. Sorry again. Must be frustrating, but he can still get into positions like that from here. So quite interesting. Oh yeah, it looks like we're seeing some video hiccups on the stream too. So I'll ask about that and check on it. 6-5 just escapes. Sure. Okay, that looks pretty natural. 2 hits and 5 is going to have to come to the outfield for mobility, I do believe. We don't want to get rid of that builder or strip our midpoint, all these things. So yeah, just 20 to 15 seems very nice to me. 4-6 hops out to the outfield to do a triple shot. What else do we have? If we get away with it, great. If we don't, we're still okay. So yeah, might as well try it. It's the Zdeněk Ziska free roll. I like it. 3 is going to hit and 4 can cover the 11. This looks like a nice asset to have, good building potential. So Gaz getting into a good position here. With 3 back against 1 back, I don't think he has too much threat or cubes yet. Oh, but with the 6 down and the threat of the second coming back, I don't think it's enough yet, but we're getting into interesting territory where you can slow down and think once in a while here. 5-2 is just a whiff. Wow, that's really unfortunate. I think the best we have is to slot and make the anchor. Yeah, I like this play. The 3 is still blocked by the 11 point, which is nice. 4-1. Yeah, I guess we would like to make the bar, but we don't have a lot of 4s we like. We can duplicate aces by unstacking. What else do we have? Play down and volunteer the 6. Yeah, there's some duplication with that too, so I like it. Okay, okay. 6-5. I think it's going to be better to hit. Wow, I don't know. This is confusing. We don't want to just get primed here. So yeah, this feels a little stronger. Okay, okay. I like it. We have to give up the valuable 11 point to do it too. Fernando hits and steps up. Okay. Back with a small advantage in this position, I believe. 5-2 is going to make the best anchor. Huge improvement for Gaz. Very nice shot there. Double 2s. It can make an anchor in the 4 points. Or maybe, what else can we do? Yeah, we'd have to volunteer a shot though. I guess ahead in the race, maybe we don't want to do that. This is, what else? Our only safe play we must have would be 13-7 with the rest though. Yeah, so this is my instinct to have a better board and try to bait our opponent off their anchor. That's what he goes with, but tricky play there for sure. 3-2, we would love to start 2 new points, but our spare distribution is a little awkward. So maybe just 11-6 can be a way, or 11-8 and 6-4, sure. Something like this to keep some spares around makes a lot of sense. 5-3 is cocked. Okay, okay. One moment, we're gonna work on some things here. All right, we're back. What do we got with double 4s here? We're 20.
Don't just choose your thing. They're gonna help us.
All right, what do we got for Fernando? A small lead here with the anchor, but not a lot of space to work. And already runs into a challenge with the 6-4. So I think, what can we do with this? Wow, this is a real problem roll that he found here. I think it's going to be minimum 2 blocks, it looks like. Oh, this is a 1 block play. Okay, but it unblocks the checker on the 24. But he does have a better board when he does this, which is nice. I'm not sure the 7 is such a nice blocking point. I kind of like his idea of making the 3 here. And then even when we get hit, our opponent has 2 blots in board. They could have a 3-point board, but we've got some threats of our own, and it's nice to have a stronger board for a blot hitting contest like this. 2-1, I think it's probably worth giving up the anchor to make the 3-point with it. But this is 4 blots around the board and a lot of checkers back against a lot of checkers in the zone. It's quite scary to make. So the question becomes, can we wait? What do we do instead then? If we wait, we probably make the 4 points. I mean, we can't afford to just play 11-8, I don't think. That looks pretty rough. So yeah, I think for lack of options, we're just going to go for it. Yeah, I struggle to figure out what his play B would be here. This is really tricky. I mean, 11-8 would be safest for 1 roll. And we're not too worried about being attacked on the ace yet, but we need to improve our board and be ready for this right away. So the temptation would be to play 6-4 and maybe 11-10. I don't think we get any duplication out of where the ace is and just wait a roll. And how often does our opponent clean up? We should have a lot of contact for a while, so I don't think it's urgent to take the hit here. It's not like the last chance to get a shot. So there's some merit to that, but leaving the ace shot might also allow our opponent to clean up anyway and win the game. And if the real deciding factor is gammons in a position like this, at the score we can afford to take maybe some liberty here. The cube's not turned yet. So this seems reasonable to wait around too. I'm really not sure. That was a very difficult play, I think. And Both seem like they have a lot of merit. 6-5 is a great shot for Fernando, though. He gets to point on head on the ace and try to buy time to get around. Super glad he made a board point now. And what is this? This is a deuce 6. Okay, so going to come in, clean up, and get ready to cover that 3 points. 6-2. All right. Yeah, so we can just make a bid for coming home and still have things to clear, or we have to attack and try to get rid of the goalkeeper. Ooh. It is a decision, but it feels like just this 16-8 play is pretty natural for trying to get closer to home. We have less to clean up afterwards, even though we do still have the 11. So the difficult part of that play to me was just that it's not over and we still have contact after we volunteer here. So it's hard to just pure volunteer when you can still go wrong. The goalkeeper covers so naturally that it's tough not to do this, but we do kind of like that contact, I think. I don't know. I guess we're just creating a 6-4 for our opponent, so maybe not. 5-1. Well, we did create some flexibility here now, which we're back for that. But okay. Shaping up nicely for Fernando. This is an easy take for Gaz, but that doesn't mean it's not a cube in such a low gammon position with a racing lead and all these things. So reasonable to think about it here. This is the kind of place where we definitely can send. And there's still some recube value for Gaz, but not a lot, so... Or, sorry, the recube value is pretty good. But in this kind of game, he's going to tend to like, get a hit and just soar past his market anyway, so not too much change there. Yeah, I like this. We're just going to start another point and probably play 9-6. Fine, fine. (5-1). I don't see a lot of options other than covering the deuce here. And as he loses spares, it gets less tempting to double this as well. So he thinks about keeping spares for flexibility. Interesting. He's just going to go all in on the race. Okay. I think I'd rather be ready to clear on sets and things like that. So I'm not sure he's gained all that much by breaking his board and giving up contact entirely. But the idea is to keep time to clear these points. So that's what he goes with here. 5-4 is going to, yeah, just slot the ace. This looks nice. And I think at these kinds of scores, usually for money, we're thinking about if this might be the last roll of the game, we want to send it before we lose our chance. But at this kind of score, there's less pressure for that. 6s is frozen. Okay, interesting. So I think Fernando is going to be unlikely to get a cube in here unless, well, here's an interesting spot. Is it better with 2 buried checkers and a blot behind? I think I like the amoeba split here. We can call it that. It's not in board. But I think Gaz has the right idea here. I don't even think it's a score play either. I mean, maybe it creates some good rolls like a 6-2 or 6-1 or something like this, but not too much. 1-2 for sure. But I think, again, with all the impurity behind him, I think he can afford to do that and really needs the board to win this game. So if the race is close, maybe he could be onto something there. Now it feels, with a 5-point board, like there's too many 6 pick-and passes. So the only play B I see would be 2 out. It looks pretty bad from there. So, yeah, these are very difficult. 205 blunder not to hit with 1-2. Oh, that was tough. Yeah, that's a scary play to make. Thanks, you guys, running analysis on this, too. I'm supposed to tell Michelle, too, that she can do it here. 22, 42, 52, 56, 59 to 57. Yeah, big racing lead and could lose his market on this. And not too worried. There's still life after a hit here. So I think this feels worth sending it. And probably Gaz still has a take on contact, but I'm not even super clear on that, given that we're in a bad racing position and our board's so impure and broken and the contact is... This is tough. This is not an easy take for Gaz. It's not clear to me that he can play this. So I think maybe for that reason alone, I would like to send it and just make it his problem. Let's get this one entered while they think about it, because it seems like they're going to take a little time. He is going to send the cube. We'll see if Gaz has made up his mind yet, and he's going to let it go. Okay. This seems accurate, but I'm going to get this in. There is some interesting contact value there for sure. That's a tricky one. Very tricky one. 23 take. Wow, it's right on the borderline. Yeah, okay. So nothing really given up there, but I would have had trouble. So that indicates to me for money that's a pretty clear take, and I would have had trouble taking it there too. Yeah, 119 for money. Very interesting stuff. It's a hard one to find. Okay, so we're at 4-way, 2-way, even more fun score for Gaz. I think after the 5-1, even at the score, I think it's probably better to just split here. No reason to leave all the fly shots in the outfield. 5-2 can hit twice. I don't see a better plan. But he's just going to run. Reasonable at the score to play more like DMP here, but yeah, I think taking the tempo away and all these things just worth a lot. Like the play, 1-2 is a nice response from Gaz, and now he's got his opponent with 3 checkers back, and that can potentially even be enough without an anchor to send here. I posted a nice one on my Facebook page of something very similar to this. A little bit more improvement than this, but he should be slowing down to think about it. I don't think he's got enough yet. The hit seems better, maybe not, maybe the board point. Maybe the board point, because we still cover a lot of outfield. What are we going to do with the 4? I think, okay, he's going to go for a double hit. Yeah, okay. This can definitely lead to some big cubes, maybe inefficient ones. So here at 4-way, 2-way, I think we have to try. I think we have 3 back. We're threatening to attack and cover. We have a racing lead. All we have to do is be ahead a little bit and have gammons present, and I see that here with the 3rd checker back. I like this cube. Should be still a super simple take for Fernando. 4-1 is probably going to cover and hit. I don't see any problem with that, but he could just play for wins somehow by... Yeah, I don't see a way to clean it up anyway, so I like this. Yeah, good follow-up. Good follow-up to the attack. 4-4, okay, and we're going to hit and make the deuce, I think. I think just for the tempo now. And so with gammons not worth anything holding a 2 cube, feels a little blitzy, but I think it's just worth it for the tempo gain in this position. Yeah. And we're going to hope to pick up that checker on the 11 and buy a little more time to come around. Oh, making the anchor does look very nice, but I just think we can do better. I think we don't have to be on the defense here quite yet when we can put 2 of our opponent's checkers on the roof. 6-5 only enters 1. That's great for Fernando, so he's looking in good shape for this game. 5-3, is it definitely just going to hit? I think so. He could anchor instead, but yeah, I think we got to take some offensive initiative again and not just give up that anchor so freely. 3-1, not a great response for Gaz. He has an anchor at least, but Fernando definitely in the lead. 5-2, I don't see better than point on head. We could hit in the outfield, but why do we want to do that with the Blotten board? We can just consolidate our advantage and make a point and not have all these liabilities around. So I like this play that he finds. Gaz fans on that 3-point board. Ouch. Very not good stuff. This is going to make another board point. I think it's better than hitting. So what else could we play after? We could play down and try to focus on making the 5-point, but I think making a board point is worth a lot here. Why do we need a 4th checker back? The one argument I have for coming out and hitting 20 to 14 would be that we want our checkers involved, and we can play down with this, yeah. So there's some merit to it. Could be, merit. I've got to avoid that pun all weekend, I guess. Let's see if we can end up making that point anyway. No, he's going to make an anchor. Oh, interesting. Maybe making the 11's better and just focus on offense. Why do we need an anchor against only 8 in the zone and 4 back? Here we go. Gets a second chance to make it. And what's our best deuce along with this? Ooh, they're not that good. Sure. 8 to 6 is fine. Still builds on the 5. 5-3. And Gaz is just praying that he can, I guess aces are duplicated. What can we do other than play 8 to 5? He can duplicate from the mid too, but yeah, and Fernando, I think, is going to be happy to just hit loose and try to win that 5-point. Gaz just hoping to avoid that onslaught and be able to make the 20 himself. 6 hits, 5 must come around the bend. Ooh, he gets to cover. Okay, so Gaz got something about this, but looking really tough shape with 4 checkers on the 24 point. 4 is going to cover, and the 3, I think we just go from the back for mobility. There's no reason to play this tight. I really don't think that he needs to waste the pips this way. I don't think he even wants an anchor in this position. He wants to give it up and come home safely. So I think moving's a little better there. He would have got hit, but I think that's okay. I don't think that buys enough anyway. But the sequence, it works out very well for him. So I think we just continue 18 to 16 and try to get home. Ace in. Okay, Gaz still trying to hang on here. Which 4 does he want to hit? These are all so awkward. Sure, why not send a second checker back? And now if he can maybe make a board point and roll 1,000 6s, he can just win this forward, right? Why not? He could even win a gammon. The 5, what do we have to lose? Sure, let's hit loose and spread out 8 to 7. Hope to make that point. Now we got our low numbers working to make another board point, and our 6 is still escaping. We got a long way to go, though. This is going to be a tough one for Gaz. Oh, he's just going to shift instead. I'm not sure why we would do this instead, but okay. 4-1. Enters 1. 5-2, I guess, yeah, best we can do is make the 3-point now. And just needs 1,000 fans. And he doesn't have his 5-point now, though. It's just going to be a difficult asset to remake. So I think the impurity is kind of costly there. Maybe he had some reason for needing to play that way. Couldn't find it, though. Here, with how much work we have to do, I think, man, we duplicate 6s if we do it, though. But I'm very tempted to slot the 5 here, just because I know I'm going to need it to bring this game home somehow. But he finds a way to make his 5s and aces work to maybe close the board while 6s can come out. There was 6 duplication. I'm not sure, though. Those are tough. Those are very tough. I can't see what this roll is. A 4 something. 4-1 maybe? A 4-1 could hit on the ace. I think we would do that. And it could also slot. Interesting. Maybe buying the time with the lucid on the ace and just hoping to keep him in the air is actually the idea there. I wouldn't have minded that. But the slot, again, I was tempted to do a last roll, so sure. And transposes, he gets to make the ace point on head anyway. And just really needs a 6 to get this started. Ooh, 5 for Fernando is huge too. Puts a lot of pressure on Gaz to get moving. 5-3 going to break. Okay, Fernando back in the driver's seat. This is going to be a very tough one to pull off for Gaz now. I think, sure, just all the way around into the board. We don't even have to leave fly shots if we don't want. But it must be okay to just play out 20 to 15 as well and cover the rest of the outfield better. 5-2. Nothing for Gaz. In big trouble here. 3-2 just going to come out to the 15. Okay. 2 going to break his board further. This is tough. Finally a 6 out, and it hits. Okay. Let's see if we can avoid the 4 or the 5 ace, 6 ace. And 6-6. Sure, sure. Okay. So blocks the rest of those 6s. That's kind of a miss anyway, isn't it? Yeah, I don't see how it helps to hit, so he just comes by. I think this is very logical. Needs Fernando to roll high and break and let his 6s out before he cracks. So, oof. Still a tall order for Gaz. 2-1 is a good start, though. Doesn't bury any new checkers. That's very good. And we clear a point. Needs that 6 immediately. Can still find a closeout with the checkers he has left if he moves now, but he buries another one. No longer possible. That is bad news for Gaz as well. Double 4s, okay. Not moving is fine. Double aces can clear another point. Why not? One step closer to home for Fernando. Gets 2 checkers moving. Fernando follows up with the double 3s, and it looks like aces can leave a shot already, but again, hard to capitalize on that. I think just 2 out to cover the outfield is going to be fine. Sure, sure. This looks reasonable. And Fernando in great shape to claim this match. 6-3, no 3s available. Yeah, I guess Gaz could have thought about leaving a 3, but I think it's too early for that and can just end up losing contact. You'd rather wait till you get a chance for a double shot or something like this. I think he's playing this fine. So if Fernando gets down to 3 checkers on the 4, for example, here it's not going to happen. But maybe that would have been a good time to like get a double shot on a 3. But now I think it's better to just keep the points and stay in the game till the end. Tricky decisions with that ace too. I don't really know which point we want to make first. Ace 4 cleans up beautifully for Fernando. All but dead. 4-1 can just make a point. Okay, hoping for a 2 up. Oh, double 2. This is not the one he was looking for. I think he wants to leave here. Oh, I'm not even clear, though. I guess he could... What else could he root for? I don't know. Double aces is going to do it. Okay, okay. Wow, nice match from them both. Okay, that was exciting stuff. I think we're going to take a short break here and come back with more, hopefully from the Merit channel for the rest of this. But wanted to get the stream up and test this out and everything like that. So we got one match in. And we'll see you back for more later today with more Bmab action. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And yeah, we got 6 more days of this. I'm excited. Join me. Share with your friends and everything. We'll see you soon.